Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish. My name is Gage.
And it's me. We're here. Can
We
you believe
are.
it?
So, I think we should start by addressing the rumors. I know there's a lot of rumors going on about
So
us,
many.
but I just want to say that they're true because I'm engaged.
That is in fact true.
Yeah. Do you have anything that
Wow.
you need to get off of your chest?
So, as you know, the rumors about Gage's engagement is true,
Yeah.
as well as mine. I am also engaged. We are engaged to each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, if you're watching the video version of this, you have the lucky privilege of seeing these beautiful stones live in person. In
I
case you
know.
haven't seen already, because we haven't posted about it 83 times.
We were actually recording last week, and it's funny because we went through like 10 minutes or so of like us talking about this whole process. But yeah, it's like official. We're engaged, and I'm just really excited about it. Oh, I meant to say that we recorded last week, and then your computer just like shut down in the middle of it. But we don't talk
Yeah.
about it. We don't
No,
bring it
we're
up.
not going to put
It's
that
fine.
energy in here. We're not going to have any technical difficulties today because, first of all, it's already been so long since we recorded anything. And like we both said, we're both engaged. I went on a cross global vacation, and a lot of things have happened since then. So we have a lot of things to talk about. And I've been saving a lot of things because I specifically wanted to like get your real reaction on camera. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to jump into everything and talk
My
about
ring
it.
light
I
just
feel
died. So, that's okay.
is it battery
Um,
powered or do you have it
it
connected
is.
to
I
a
charged
charger?
it for about 4 minutes and I thought that would
Oh,
be
okay.
enough. But you know
Okay,
what?
got
That's
it.
my fault. So it's fine.
Do you want to restart? Do you want to
No,
wait?
it's okay. I can deal with the natural lighting. It's okay.
I mean, you look great.
I just wanted to come back and look my best, but you can't
The
always get
universe just, yeah, the universe is just not gonna let it happen.
what
No, I'm joking. But yeah, I think it's really exciting to like come back and be able to come into this new year with like good news for both of us and like really fun stories. And so I know we had like a little bit of a break last year, like at the end of the last year coming into the new year, and it's been a while. And I feel like we say this every episode, but our intentions are good. Our intentions are to be back recording and doing this. I think it's just so fun to just be able to sit down and like be able to just like recap things going on in our lives. So yeah, I've heard nothing about like a lot of the details regarding your like adventure or even your engagement, so I'm excited that we can like sit here and like live see our reactions and sort of talk about it. But
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like every year we have this habit, especially at the very beginning, like during January and February, we're like, this year is going to be the year.
We're
We're
gonna
going to
like
get
get
it.
so
We're
famous.
going to be so consistent and we're going to just be so successful. And I will say this year has started off pretty strong, like for both of us. So I think if we just really hang in there and keep the momentum going, we're going to just be the most successful people ever by the end of this year.
I genuinely think so, and I've been wanting to say this for like a while because I don't know, we're just so grateful for like the audience that we have and the audience that is patient with us and just constantly wanting to push us to grow. We had a lot of amazing opportunities last year, and it was just like so incredible to just be able to have so much like growth and see the cool things that we're capable of doing. And so it's been really awesome to like see the hard work that we're putting in be paid off in those situations, and like a lot of like our fans, our supporters, just like really encouraging us and putting us in those positions to have those like really cool experiences. And I hope to constantly do that and do more, and I really want us to like you know have this year to be like the one that we like really really grow into like what girlish is. So I'm excited. And I guess before we jump into everything, I sort of want to say, because we sort of did it in the past, but haven't really, so it sort of fell off because we kind of fell off. We kind of stopped posting as much. But I think it'd be really awesome to start up a Patreon again. And it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And we record on this like platform that we use that costs money every month. They just changed it, which is crazy. But we wanted to just have something, if you guys wanted to support us, give you extra content. And I think it'll look interesting. It'll be fun. I plan on posting like just like different little like am I the assholes every like so often, but even like after show stuff we've done in the past where like after show we talk for another like 5-10 minutes and just sort of give you that additional content if you're interested in supporting a Patreon. So if you're interested, you can like look into our descriptions everywhere, find it, just look up Girlish Podcast and Patreon. And yeah, if you want to support us, support the show, that would be really great. And hopefully it'll push us to be able to make some really cool content in the future.
Yes, I'm excited. We'll probably talk about it more in the future, just to let
Yeah,
everyone know. But we just have so much to cover.
I know so
So
much, so
it's like
much.
overwhelming. Like, I don't know where to start because there's so many things I want to say. But in the spirit of getting engaged, I feel like that's probably what people want to know the most. I might be completely wrong. Maybe they really don't give a fuck. But I think that they would care enough to know at least what happened or how it happened to both of us.
Yeah. It's really funny because our stories are just so vastly different in the way that we got engaged. And yeah, it's just really awesome. Just one, that fact that like this is like happening to us. Like, I never would have imagined that we either, well, not for me, I never would have imagined that I would have ever gotten engaged. But
Same. Same.
the fact that we were able to like be engaged within the same time period, it's so funny the way that our lives are aligned. And yeah, I just think that that's just so funny that like we're both engaged around the same time.
That's a reoccurring joke for us is that
Yeah.
we're like linked by some sort of energy that we can't see. I don't, did I ever talk about how I absorb? I think I did talk about how I absorbed something in the room. Well, we have a new
And
theory that when I absorbed my twin, the essence of that twin jumped bodies from my mother to your mother, flew all the way across the country.
Mhm.
And that's you. So you're like the reincarnation of my twin. Like 2 years later,
Yeah,
you just
I think
you got
so.
lost.
And it's sort
Or
of like once like they've done the studies where they've separated twins their entire lives and they bring them back together and they both like end up having like the same lives.
that's
That's sort
us.
of what happened with us. That's us
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, so it is really exciting the fact that we both got engaged. Like I was saying, I never expected that to ever happen to myself, like especially knowing that I was trans like my entire life. Like I just never imagined that like I would find a partner, one that would be like willing to be with me and just like have my happy ever after. And the fact that we both have been with our partners for so long, and the fact that we are here now is just really really awesome. And I'm just so excited about being engaged, being proposed to. Is very cute.
Yeah, I think for I can't speak for all trans people, but I think it does add another layer of excitement or maybe like shock or the fact that you can't believe that it happened because I mean for a cis person, I think most people can kind of picture themselves getting married in the future or the idea if that's something that they're interested in. But when you're trans and you haven't gotten to the point where you've come out or started transitioning, if that's something that you want to do, that's so far removed from the realm of possibility for you, I feel like, because you don't think you're ever going to get to that point. So when it comes to that point and you're actually experiencing it, it's a little more jarring than it would be, I feel like, if that's something. Because I know there are a lot of girls, especially that grow up their entire lives, like thinking about their wedding day and how they want it to be. And the second that they get proposed to, they start wedding planning and they're like so excited to do everything. But for me, I'm just trying to like accept the fact that I'm engaged right now. Like I don't even want to think about planning a wedding. It's just like, what the heck is going on? That's where I'm at personally.
As you're saying this, I'm taking my hormones. I'm very sorry.
I took mine before we started.
Yeah, like I always forget, and it's like 1 p.m. and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't taken them. But yeah, for me, like in terms of like getting like married, I never like. I know a lot of people like have had their Pinterest board for their like ideal wedding, what they want their wedding to look like, and I never got to the point in my life where I felt that it was ever possible. So I never even like had the time to like envision that for myself. And then I've been with my partner for forever, and it's not something that like we've always knew we were going to get married. We just never knew, when that was going to be. And that sort of was like a main theme, sort of coming into like this year. Like we've been together for 8 years. It's sort of like, okay, what is that like? How does one go from just being together for so long to then just being married? Like, what is that? How do we propose to each other? Like, how does that work? Because we've been together for so long. So it's like already like we live together. We're already pretty much married. So what does that look like for us? And so once that it finally happened, it just like felt so just like right, and it felt so like great. And I really want to talk about how we got proposed to, or how we proposed, or whatever. And I think it's fun to kind of see the differences in our stories if you're up for it.
I'm definitely up for it.
You had a
I
fun story.
I do have a fun story. Should I go first or do you want to go first?
I can go first because mine is
Okay.
like less like of a. I didn't like do a whole trip, and I wasn't in another country, but essentially my so I think it's weird if you don't talk about getting engaged before getting engaged. Like, I feel like everyone should.
Same.
And I think everyone pretty much does. Everyone kind of knows when they're getting engaged. If it's like a really like out of the blue like surprise, I kind of think that's a little messed up because you don't really give your partner the opportunity to really prepare their like thoughts for it. So Emily and I had just been talking about it. We had always said that like 2023 was probably the year we get engaged, and I really liked that. And so we sort of picked our rings in the beginning of last year, and we just, had them written down, had our ring sizes written down, and then we ended up getting each other rings. We both knew it. It was just like out in the open. We weren't really trying to hide it. So we had the rings, and then it just became this weird thing once we got the rings of like, when is the perfect time to propose? Like, what is it supposed to feel like? What is like, it just felt like a very big thing, and we didn't know how to. We've been together so long, we didn't know how to really do that grand gesture. We didn't even know if we wanted a grand gesture. And I think we both sort of struggled with like, okay, we have the rings. We both like know we have the rings. Like, what do we do? And so it got to the beginning of this year, and we just sit in the office one day working, and we're just like talking, and then in the middle of us talking, I just literally am I just go, do you want to get engaged? Like, do you want to just be engaged right now? And it was just like literally in this office, she's sitting in her chair right there, and we're just like literally just, it was out of nowhere. I was just like, let's literally just put on our rings, let's just be engaged. And then so we just gave each other our rings, and that was it. That was like our special moment. And it was, to be honest, it felt so like perfect for us. And I know a lot of people like have those like really cute little proposals, and especially if you're like a queer couple, to me it's almost like who proposes to who, like how does that work, like what happens. And I don't know, it didn't, everything felt wrong for us in terms of how to go about proposing. And then sort of that random at in our environment, in our home, that sort of thing that transpired, I felt like that was so perfectly us, and it was like perfect. And so that's literally what it was. It was just us talking and me going like, do you want to just be engaged? And then it was the should we like type of thing. And yeah, and honestly it's so perfect, and I love my ring. I knew what it was going to be, but like it was sort of decided last minute by Emily. She like found a different ring, was like, I think this would suit you more. And then I saw it really quickly, and then yeah, it definitely
It's so pretty.
um
It looks
but
so good with your tattoos. It
yeah,
just
every time I like see it with my tattoos, I'm just like, oh, this is
like
iconic.
you're so cool.
Oh, I know. I'm so cool and so engaged. But yeah, that's my story.
That's so cute. I think truly the best. engagements are the ones that make sense for the couple, because for you guys that was perfect. You know, it was just like spur of the moment, private, just the two of you, because that's really all that matters. I know some people are like, I want my fiance to jump out of a helicopter and skydive to me and give me 1,000 roses. Like, perfect for you. But if someone did that to me, I would probably pass out. Like, it's not tailor made for everybody. You have to really figure out what's the best for you. And I feel like your partner and you know what that is. Like, in that moment, she was like, oh, like, you're just asking me right here, and that is all you needed. So I think
Hmm.
that's so cute.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I weighed in those options. I was like, okay, what if we both were in Mexico. I was like, what if like we go in a hot air balloon and I engage to you in a hot air balloon? And like I literally was thinking about these things. But
Mm.
then like obviously it was like that doesn't make sense. Like it just like doesn't feel like we don't want these like grand gestures or like these things that are going to put a lot of attention on us. So yeah, I just think like our like private little moment will always just be ours, and like it was just really special. And so yeah, that's sort of what happened. And then we ended up waiting to tell everyone because it was January 16th, and I had this idea of announcing it with photo booth pictures. So we just had to have the right moment to go and actually find a photo booth, and then we like took cute little pictures,
They're so cute.
just showing off our rings, and it was so funny because we didn't have any cash, so we were like waiting for a reservation or waiting for like our table to be called, and we were like running around downtown trying to find ATMs to like go into the bar that had the actual thing before we were called that our table was ready. But it was cute to just like hunt it down, and yeah, so we're both really happy and we announced it officially, and it's been very exciting to just see how many people are saying such kind words to us.
I'm so excited
Yeah.
for you. I'm so happy. My
I
parents.
know. Your mom's.
I have to take you guys out to dinner. My
I
parents are
know.
finally engaged. Or we need to go to dinner and celebrate when you guys next time we see each other.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
think that we're gonna end up going there sometime this year because we Emily and I have just been like having that itch to just like
Yeah.
go. So we'll see you soon. But I need to hear about yours because I know what happened, but I want to know
Okay.
like the whole build up to everything. Like, what was that like?
Yeah. So I guess similarly to you, we did talk about it before it happened, obviously. So going back to like September ish, we went to, because one of his coworkers' husband owns a jewelry store. So we went there just to check it out, see what the options were. And um, my ring is actually, or at least the diamond itself, is a family heirloom. So it was part of another ring. And I really liked how like the rectangle diamond looked on my finger, because I have long ass fingers. So I needed something that kind of fit that vibe. And it just so happened that the ring that was in his family was like the perfect shape for my particular finger. So we went in and we were thinking of the idea of taking the diamond off the original band and putting it on something else. So I found like a setting and a band that was like exactly what I wanted. And I was like, this is so pretty. Like, if I want a ring, I want it to look like this. So I was kind of like planting the seed in his head. And this was, like I said, back in September. So I kind of figured like it's September. I know we're going on a huge trip in December. So there's a large possibility that it could happen on this trip, because, my family's going, his family's going. We're both Filipino. We're going to the Philippines. It's like a really monumental trip for us, and also like just for our culture and to be able to be home, like in the motherland, essentially. So I kind of knew it was going to happen. But I want to talk about the day. It was like the day before I left on my trip. And I was freaking out because I had done my nails myself, but I didn't like how they look. So in my head, I was like, I don't think I should go on this trip with nails that I don't like. Because if I get proposed to and I have to go like this, and my nails are like crooked and like ugly, it's gonna bother me for the rest of my life. So I texted my mom and I was like, should I just not wear nails? Because why would I need to wear nails to the Philippines? Like, we're gonna be hiking up mountains and they're gonna get dirty and I'm probably gonna break them. So, like, what's the point of even doing my nails? And my mom was like, you should definitely have your nails done. I was like, okay, that's weird. So I text Alice. She's like, you should definitely have your nails done. And then I'm like, that's fucking weird. And then I text you, and then you are also like, you should definitely have your nails done. And I now know that neither you nor Alice knew about it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So no hard feelings. I was like, I can't believe you're like doing me like this. You're making me so stressed out. But my mom did know. So she was telling me that I should have my nails done because she knew obviously I was going to get engaged. So I redid them the night before the trip just for peace of mind. And I was like, you know what? If it doesn't happen, it's fine. But if it does, at least I won't be embarrassed to do this. Like, if my nails were not done, I would have been like, this is my engagement. Like, no nails, just the palm of my hand. So, yeah, we get to the Philippines. And on New Year's Eve, so it had been 2 days since we got there. First of all, so we were having like apparently a New Year's Eve party, which was what I was told by my mom. So I'm like, okay, fine. We're gonna have a New Year's Eve party, just with the people that were there, because there was like 15 of us living or staying in this hotel. And at about like 12 p.m. that day, this catering company comes and they start bringing in these tables and setting up these tables in like the courtyard, and they're like fully decorating these tables, like tablecloths with centerpieces, and the chairs all have like ribbons and beautiful like linen draped across them. And I'm like, what's the fuck is going, like, why does it look like we're setting up for a wedding? And my mom's like, oh, the catering here is just so inexpensive that I just thought wanted to like take advantage of it and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, fine, we're gonna have a whole setup here, I guess, for New Year's Eve. And like early on that day, Russell came to me and he was like, what should I wear tonight? And I was like, what do you mean, what should you wear tonight? Like, you can dress yourself, right? And he was like, well, I just want you to like what I'm wearing. He was like, maybe we could take pictures or something tonight because it's New Year's Eve, so we could like get dressed up a little bit. So like hinting at me to get dressed up and like look good for the night. So I was like, that's a little weird. I don't know why you're telling me to get dressed up. So the cogs are spinning at this point. So fast forward to like 5 p.m. I'm getting ready and I could tell that he's kind of nervous because he keeps coming into our room and just like sitting it on the bed and staring at me. And he's like, so are you almost done? Like, blah, blah, blah. I want to go take pictures here. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was like, okay, I'm almost done. So he would leave. And then my mom would come in and she would do the same thing. She would just like sit on the bed and like stare at me. And she'd be like, oh my God, like, what are you going to wear? Like, are you excited for New Year's Eve? I was like, girl, it's New Year's Eve. I've had 28 of these already. Like, I don't really care. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So at this point, I kind of start shaking, honestly. And I'm like getting light in the head, like, oh my God, like, I think I'm about to get engaged to. So I'm ready. And he takes me outside. And his sister is like, oh, I want to take pictures of you guys over here. So I was like, oh, maybe we're just taking pictures. So we go over and we're just taking pictures. And after like the second picture, he grabs my shoulders and like turns me to look at him. And then at that point, it was kind of obvious. I was like, okay, he's going to do it. But I blacked out. So he had like some speech that he said to me, and I don't know what he said because I just blacked out. Because I started to cry, and then he started to cry. And then what happened then is going to be unknown to me for the rest of my life. I have a video, but you can't really hear it. So, yeah, that's how it happened. We were in the Philippines. Our family was like standing behind bushes, like peeking and staring at us the whole entire time, which I obviously knew that they were there. But it was really cute. It was somewhat private because it was just the two of us, but our family was kind of nearby. So I didn't really hear what happened between the two of us. So I liked that they were present, but in that moment, we were the only ones that knew what was being said, which again, I don't remember what he said. I can't really speak much to that. But yeah, it was an interesting day. Of me going back and forth like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? And it happened. So
That
yeah.
is so cute. That is so you said you ended up like having your tears. You ended up
There were
crying. I
tears.
did see the video. I'm just asking for the
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah, I started to cry almost immediately after he started speaking.
That's so funny because I've seen I saw the video. Am I allowed to say? I saw the
You're allowed
video.
to say yes.
And it's so cute because, like, yeah, just seeing like how Russell get choked up too. It was like, oh my god, I almost started crying. And I'm like, this is why like weddings get me so good every time. It's just so cute. And like honestly, it really felt so special to like to see that you guys had that little moment together. And it was so pretty. You said that was
It
just at the
was.
place you were staying and it was just like
Yeah.
set up and stuff.
We were
That's so
staying
cute.
at like a hotel, but because there were so many people, like so many people in our group, we had the entire hotel to ourselves. So we got to just basically roam around the grounds and just hang out. And we didn't have to be quiet because there was literally nobody else there. So it was really
I
fun.
love that.
I can talk all about my trip probably in another episode and
I
the
want to hear
journey
all
that I
about
went
it.
on because it was a
Because I'm
lot.
like, I knew where you went, but I feel like I don't know like where you went because you
Yeah.
did so much. Because you just randomly texted me one day. I was like, "Yeah, I've been like in this like van for like 3 days," and I'm just like, "What?" But I'm interested in hearing all about it. But yeah, that's so awesome. That's so sweet that like you're able to even do that in the motherland,
Me
and I
too.
feel that
Yeah.
that's so special.
So it was very special. I probably couldn't have asked it to go another way. I think,
Hmm.
like, for you, it was like perfect for us. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so sweet. I love it. Yeah, and whenever Emily and I were like first viewing the seeing the rings, like before we had like officially given them to each other, we did in fact see them, and it was like we just both started like crying like crazy. It's one thing to just like talk about it and like prepare for it, but in the moment when it's like you're faced with it, like not only is the anxieties of like what does it mean, like where is our life going, like the anxieties of that, but the excitement of it, the love you have, and then just being able to like see the see your love sort of manifest in that moment, that shared little intimate moment. And I think it's so sweet, so I'm very happy for you.
Me too. I am excited because I think I've talked about how I'm scared of planning a wedding. Like I don't know
Mhm.
why I have this irrational fear of trying to plan a wedding or even having one in the first place. But now we get to go through it together. Like actually.
I Oh my god, I didn't even think about that, that like
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
holy
I've had
shit,
I
that's
have a
so
lot of
funny.
friends that have gotten married in the last 2 years. So I obviously have them to talk to, but I feel like us going through it at the same time is like different. It's a different
And
thing.
it's so funny, and I know our weddings are going to be completely different, just like in the essence of it, because Emily and I have been talking about like what we want to do and stuff. We're not going to wedding plan anytime soon. I want to finish my grad degree before we like actually start making any plans, which is the summer. So it'll be very soon, but yeah, there's already like ideas sort of being like thrown around. We're not sure if we want to do like an elopement where it's like cheaper and it's more intimate for us, and then we just have a big party with friends, or do we actually just want to have like a small wedding with like our like intimate family and friends. So we're not really sure, but either way I think it's going to be something small and then like a big party with where we invite a ton of people. I think that's
Mm.
sort of where we're like landing.
That's the
But
vibe that we
I'm
want to.
Yeah, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be at your wedding. It's going to be so much fun.
It is going to be, both of our weddings are going to be so much fun. And then we both get to go to each other's bachelorette parties. Like,
I
it's going to be
know.
so much fun.
Do you have an idea of what you want to do for a bachelorette party?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. I don't even know where it's going to be. We do know that we want to have it in the springtime. So,
Oh, I
which I
love
feel
that.
like is maybe not the best idea because I think that's like the most expensive time to even have a wedding. But yeah, if we have it in LA, it's going to be like too hot to do it in summer. And then I don't want to be cold on my wedding day either.
Right.
But if we have it in like Washington, then we have to have it in the summer because otherwise it's going to be 7 degrees outside. So it's like, I guess we just have to figure out where it's going to be first.
That's it's funny because I even brought up with Emily. There's beautiful like you can elope like on the mountain on Mount Rainier. There's like beautiful places where you can like rent out and for
Hmm.
like not too expensive, and people like elope on like the mountain. And I'm like that could be cute because that was like our home for like a season of our lives, and to like go back and like get married there would be really special. So it's something that we're like still talking about if we want like what we want to do. I don't know because like once we posted that post on social media and like a lot of people were just like reaching out and congratulating us. It made me really just be like, damn, I really want a wedding. Like that would be so fun to just have people come and like celebrate us and be excited to be there. So I don't know. We'll
Isn't it
see.
crazy how like many people just like will say congratulations? Like it's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I
I,
don't really post on Instagram anymore. So when I posted that, I was like, first of all, it was like 2 in the morning because of the time difference. So at first, no one was saying anything. I was like, do people really not care about me? Like, I just got engaged, like, hello. But it was like literally 2 in the morning. And then like people started commenting, and I was like, oh my God, that's so
Yeah,
sweet.
I woke up to just like pictures of like your ring, and I went on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like you're literally engaged."
Yeah.
So that is funny because it was like randomly like in the middle of the night.
I was just so excited I couldn't help it. I had to post it.
Yeah, but that's awesome though, and I'm very excited for us. Like it's so funny because I feel like I feel like every year there's like a bunch of people that all get engaged around the same time. But I feel like I haven't seen any engagements other than you and me the past like few months. So we're just like special that way.
We really just we started the year off. Like who else? I mean, I technically I got engaged last year because it was the 31st.
Oh yeah, that was like I mean it was
I
a
would
New
like to
Year.
think that I was the last person to get engaged on December 31st
I mean
in
technically
the
it was the
world.
New Year in the United States, right? Or
When I
no,
got
is it because you guys
engaged,
were
it
12
was
hours
still
ahead?
like yeah, like the
Yeah.
previous day.
Okay, that's
So,
true.
okay,
But you
maybe
were still
not.
the last person on Earth in 2023 to get engaged,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, even
For
though it was
sure.
like 5 p.m. on the 31st, no one else did it after us. Like definitely.
So funny. What is? Yeah, we ended up getting engaged January 16th officially, and then we announced it the second on Groundhog's Day. Fuck that groundhog.
Fuck that stupid fucking groundhog. Are
Yeah.
you supposed to remember the day that you got engaged or you remember the day that you got married or both?
I think probably both. I know that like it's not going to be. Maybe it's something we celebrate. Maybe it will be. I just put it on my calendar, and I said I just put like a little event on my calendar that had like the little ring emoji,
Cute.
and I go if I ever want to reference it or if we ever want to celebrate it, then like we can have it. But I think people typically. I don't think it's like a celebrated thing. I think the engagement. I mean, the actual marriage is like celebrated. But
Okay.
like, I always think about that too. Like, once we get married, does that then negate our original anniversary? Or then do you just have two
Oh,
anniversaries?
yeah, because then you have a wedding anniversary and then like a dating anniversary. But because you're
Yeah.
married, like, doesn't that override? You're not dating anymore,
Because I
right?
think about my parents, and when my parents were, well, I was still young, but like my parent, like my mom, she would say, like, oh, this is like our anniversary. She'd be talking about the wedding anniversary, not when they got together.
Or you could just get married on the
Um,
same day.
hmm. We were married, I guess April was middle of spring. So, I mean, technically, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
great weather in Florida for sure.
I have a question for you
Yes.
because So, like in a queer couple, obviously, as you mentioned, it can be kind of hard to figure out who's going to propose to who. And you obviously both got rings for each other. Me, I don't know how does a man get a ring? Like, when does the man get
So,
their ring? And do I have to
so
buy it?
my brother got engaged too, I think last year. He got his fiance her ring, and then he just ended up treating himself to like a nice watch, saying like if she can have
Oh,
something nice, I can have something nice. So he just got
yeah.
himself like a nice watch to like celebrate it.
So
But he
does he
bought it
not
for
have a
himself.
ring?
I mean, they're not married yet, so once they get
Okay.
married, then he just has the one band. But
Is that why
the
people like exchange ring? Like, so I know I have my engagement ring and then I also get a band. So we both get
Mhm.
bands at the same time. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and the man only has the band. You have the engagement ring because you are his property. You
Okay.
feel me?
No, I get it.
Okay, so actually, and I know the lore of this. So engagement rings were they were established as a form of or is it engagement rings or it's maybe it's wedding rings. I think engagement rings were typically just for the woman, and when the man started wearing like the wedding ring, engagement and wedding rings, when men started to actually wear the wedding ring was during the war because they would go and they would want something to remember their significant other by, so they would have a wedding ring, and that's sort of I think how that, if I'm right, I think so that's why men even have wedding rings, but the purpose of it is to like showcase that like you're taken, I guess,
Yeah.
by law. But yeah, the men only get the band.
Great.
But I think
So I
that I
got the
think that's
better end of the
outdated.
deal.
Right, but I think that's outdated. Why can't they have something pretty and nice on their finger?
I know. Why
A
can't they
nice
have like a
sparkly
diamond?
diamond.
I
Right.
will say he wants a Cartier ring as his wedding band. So I
I
don't know why I
mean,
got the one that's like bougie. Like you don't just want a gold, simple gold band. Like you want a Cartier ring. That's
I want to
crazy.
look up car. Now I want
They're like
Cartier.
$2,000, $3,000 maybe on
Oh,
average.
he's bougie. I mean, yeah, I guess
Or you know what a lot of people do is they go to like just a jeweler and they have the jeweler make them like a 24 karat gold piece of jewelry that looks like a designer piece because technically like the metal that they're using at the jewelers is like more valuable than what designers use. Like designers are just upcharged
mass
because it's like
producing
a
it. Yeah,
designer, right? But the quality of the actual metal of the jewelry is not really that good. So I guess you could do that, and
yeah,
it's like cheaper.
yeah. We've been thinking about it too. I know that yeah, there's like local jewelers too that are able to like make things and like design it in a way that maybe would fit your like aesthetic. My friend got engaged and she went to a local jeweler and they like built out like what she wanted. She had ideas and they ended up making it for her. So yeah, I think that's probably like the best way to go.
Hmm.
But I mean, if he wants the brand just for like just the sake of just him knowing that it's Cartier, then
Yeah,
you're only married once.
that's so true. And honestly, it's the least I
Oh.
can do. I mean, I hope I'm only married.
No,
Um,
but I also think, and what I've seen a lot of people do is if they're not like made of money and they want to get married, they typically will get something cheaper, and then once they make more money in the future, then they replace it.
yeah.
I've heard of people doing that. Like my have a friend, the parents like replaced it with like a really expensive, like she got a new engagement ring after they were married for however many years, because they could afford it then.
Hmm.
But yeah, engagement rings are crazy expensive. You don't realize how much they really cost until you're actually looking, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna spend easily anywhere between three to like $20,000 for a ring.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I didn't. I was scared to ask how much mine cost. To be honest,
Hmm.
I was like, it's just pretty. Like, I don't care how much it costs. It looks good on my finger. Like that's all I need. That's all I need.
It's so funny, and I guess I can like bring this perspective into it. I don't know if you've ever like looked at like how, I don't know if you know anything about like the diamonds, and when you're making like a ring, when you're, because we went through, maybe I shouldn't say, I don't know if anyone's in it, like I don't, whatever, I'll just say it. We went through Brilliant Earth to do it because we both really liked the rings there, and there was like a brick and mortar store in Seattle. And so we went through Brilliant Earth, and to actually build it out, like you have to pick your diamond, but like picking the diamond is like, you have to, they have a list of diamonds and they have the price for them, and like you have to like understand the quality, the clarity, the like the grading that it has, and there's like so many checks that you have to go through, and like I literally had to like learn everything about like the classes of diamond and what they mean, and like all this stuff, and it was very interesting to like have to like learn when picking out like the perfect diamond.
See,
Oh,
I
and
don't
then
know
the
anything
difference
about
between like
that.
lab grown versus like a normal
I do know
diamond,
what
and
that
like
means.
evidently they're like literally compositely like the same. It's the same thing.
So when we were in the jewelry store, we looked at lab grown diamonds and they looked pretty much identical to the actual diamond. And honestly, they sparkled like more. So I was like,
Yeah,
honestly, I would be fine with that. Like I really don't care.
yeah. The only difference between lab grown is the fact that like it's easier. Well, it's easier to obtain because it's made. So then the value of it's less. And so I think when it's created, there has to be like a marking. Let's like, I think on a lab grown diamond, it would say like in like really fine like engraving that it's like lab grown. And I think that's how you would know. But I think and I think under like a light, it like glows less than a real diamond. I think that's bullshit though. I think that because it's compositely the same, like it's like made the same as like a natural diamond. It's like gone through the same process, just sped. So I think that you really cannot tell the difference. They're both like
Yeah.
literally the same thing.
And no one's
But
gonna
like
come up to
people,
you with a magnifying glass and be like, let's see if it's real.
is that a real diamond?
You're a
I
faker.
don't. People don't ask that either. But yeah, I know people prefer lab grown because of like ethics and stuff like that. I mean, it's also more affordable, but it was interesting seeing like that. I was like, oh, I know nothing about diamonds. Like, what does that even mean? So I was very fascinated with how the whole process worked. But yeah, so we're both very very happy, and I think it was really cool to like be able to like pick. I've always wanted a ring, and I told her that, and she knew. And I always joked that like I want her to engage to me, but it didn't really. It was more just like a decision and less of a question, which I thought was like really us, and I'm really happy with. But yeah, anyways, that's my engagement talk for the day.
Do you feel different, like existing in public with a ring on, or do you feel like people? Has anyone commented on it or done anything?
No, and that
Since
makes me mad. I'm like, say
like,
something.
ask me about it.
Literally. I'm like, I just started a new job, and like, and obviously they don't know me, but I'm literally like, I like have my hands up every once. I'm like, I want you to say something. Like, I could have been engaged for a million years. Like, what the fuck are they gonna say?
Yeah,
But like, I'm just like, I need someone to ask me about it. I'm so happy.
that's so funny. I'm the same
Do you feel
way.
that though?
I
Yeah.
also will just like be like, oh, I talk with my hands more. I feel like, but I told you yesterday. So I got hit on yesterday while leaving the store. I was literally exiting, and this guy was like, "You're so beautiful. I just have to tell you." I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I was like, "I'm engaged." And I just walked away. And that felt so,
The
I felt so
power.
powerful in that moment. I was like, I don't just have a boyfriend, I'm engaged. Do you see this? You can't give me this. And I just walked away. And I've never felt
That's
better.
iconic.
Yeah. He was like,
And
oh,
honestly,
sorry. I was like, yeah, you better be sorry. Because guys don't really care. Like, if you tell someone that you have a boyfriend, they're like, okay, whatever. But I feel like if I have this thing on my finger, that's proof. And then they're like, oh, yikes. I mean, some
yeah, I
people
feel like
probably still don't care, but for the most part, I feel like most people will like back off at that point.
I've heard people say that where like oh my god, like one time someone hit on Emily, and she was like, what is she? I think she said she's a girlfriend, or like she was like gay or something. I don't know. They like and then he was like, "That's what I like to hear." Like men are like weird like that. Like,
Yeah.
well, just give it up. But if you have a ring, it's like, you can't afford this.
Yeah,
So
they're like kind of intimidated. They're like, "Oh,
yeah,
I don't know if I could even afford that." So
good for
I'll give
you.
up.
Right.
I concede. But that
That's
felt
so
great.
funny.
But I
Yeah.
think, like, I think it should be mandatory if you see this on someone's finger that you should just come up to them and talk to them. I'm just kidding. I would actually hate that. I don't want to do that to everybody. But it
No.
does feel
And I know.
good to have it there. It's like a new accessory. It is a new accessory. And it makes me feel so much more put together.
Are you happy with it? Does it fit you good? Like that, like
So
perfect?
my fingers change sizes daily. So
Mm.
today it fits great. Like it's perfect. Yesterday it was a little loose in the morning and then it felt good at night. So it's I feel like if I was to resize it, it would probably be too tight
Hmm.
half the days. But it's I don't know, like do your fingers are they just always different sizes or is that just me?
Yeah, mine pretty much changed for some reason. Only certain. My ring finger pretty much stays the same because I don't know if you can see how much gap there is right there. It's super loose on me, so I definitely want to get it resized a little bit smaller. Like I'm pushing on it, and there's like such a gap. And so
Yeah.
it's crazy because she almost got it a size like bigger, like a half size bigger, and I was like, no, I think you should call them, and because we were literally just talking about the whole process to each other when she ordered it, I was like, just call them and make it smaller because I don't have to I don't want you to have to deal with that. And I'm having it, yeah, I think it's still a little too big, so I might have to just do like a half size smaller. But yeah, my fingers, I have other rings on my fingers, and half the times they don't fit, or they fit, but they're just like really snug. And then the other half of the time, it's like fine. So I
You
get
wear
that though.
rings, just like other rings regularly, right?
Yeah, I have a set of ones that I bought from a jury that I always wear.
Okay. How I feel like I have a hard time now trying to balance where my rings go because I don't want to take too much attention away from this one. So like do you just overpower your other fingers with rings like on the other hand or do you like space them? You still wear rings on this hand too?
So I only have like two rings that I'm allergic to certain types of like metals, so it can only be like real metal because like yeah, I don't know. So I only have like two because it was really expensive for me. So I only have two rings, and so I typically fit them on my pointer finger and on my pinky, and that's what I've been wearing. But I have noticed that like I feel like it's just too powerful on my left hand, and I don't have anything on my right hand. So I've
Yeah.
been like trying to mix it up, and I want to buy more because I want it to feel balanced, like you said. But yeah, it's not when I had the rings on the other day, a friend said, "You look like." What did she say? She said, "You look like David from Schitt's Creek." Do you remember? Have you seen Schitt's Creek?
I know of it, but I don't know the reference.
Oh my
Does he just wear
god!
a lot
But
of rings?
I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm gonna spoil it. He gets engaged, and his engagement ring, like he wears these types of rings. I'll send them to you. But I was
Okay.
just so insulted. She didn't mean it to be mean, but
She was just like, "Damn, bitch, you're wearing a lot of rings."
yeah, I was like,
And
okay,
what?
and why? Leave me alone.
You're a jewelry enthusiast. Like, what's the problem with that?
I need you to see these rings.
Does he just
Oh
wear
my
like
god.
engagement rings, like as normal rings, like diamond
N-
rings?
no, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm texting it to you right now. Hold on, because it's so fucking stupid. Tell me you wouldn't be insulted if someone said that you look like David from
This
Schitt's
is
Creek.
what
I
you
just
look
sent them
like.
to you.
Okay, let me see.
That was his engagement ring in the show. It was just
Oh,
it was just a bunch of those types of rings. He always wore them, and when he got engaged to, he was given another one for that specific finger. But those were his rings that he always
I
wore.
would be a little offended
I was like,
because that's a little much. And I'm sure your
So,
rings are not that fat. And why?
no, absolutely not.
Like,
They're literally the same width as my engagement ring. But I literally since then I haven't worn my rings out with like this
you
ring.
know, you need to put them back on.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
maybe.
I love multiple rings. I think it's so cool. I think there is a point where it might become a little bit too much. Like if you can't actually do this or move, maybe you should stop a little bit. But I love just maximalist jewelry. I think it's
Yeah,
cool.
have you do you know who Kristen McEntee is?
Hmm.
She's like an influencer. She wears a ton of rings and they look really
Yeah,
cute. She has stories for like all of them. And I
yeah,
like how it looks, but I just have to like acquire them in a way that like makes like I don't know, I think over time I just have to find them. But
yeah.
yeah.
I will say having your nails done with rings on, it's like an unmatched feeling. It feels like I'm
I
playing a video game and I'm like first person and I just look down at my hands and I'm like, wow, my hands look so good right now because my nails look
that's
perfect and I have all of these somewhat expensive, not really, some of them are from Amazon, rings on my finger and they still
do
look
you
good.
do you oh, you still do your own nails, right?
Yeah,
You're like a professional.
I did these myself.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
The amount of money that you save is wild. Because I want to go
literally.
get mine done because I haven't seen my hands with nails with my
I'm
ring.
telling, I need to send you what I do because you can
Yeah,
get
I
like
know.
a pack of 200 nails on Amazon
That's
like this. Like
crazy.
these come like with the black tips. Like you can get white tips, you can get different colors, and you just have to get good at like doing glue and like the technique, and they're not coming
They're
off.
on.
Like so, I did this for the Philippines, and they lasted almost my entire trip, and I was in the water like most of the time. So that's how you
Was it
know.
warm there? That's a silly question. Is it
Yeah, it was
summer there?
very warm and very humid.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been super cold here. But yeah, please text me how to do it because
I'm gonna send you everything that I use.
yeah, because I really want. I've been itching to get them done. There's someone that I really like going to in Gainesville. She's really expensive, but she does really cool nails. But she moved to
Yeah.
Jacksonville
And they
recently.
have like shorter ones too, so you don't have to get long nails.
Yeah, I every time I get them, I feel like every time I go, I end up getting them a little too long. So I wish that I could manage that myself. And it's awkward when they're in the middle of it, and you're like, oh, that's too long.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you. I tell everyone. Anyone that comments on my nails, I'm like, wait, girl, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna put you
I
on.
did them myself.
Yeah. Because
That's so funny.
what's the point of like spending that much money on them? I mean, it's nice to support that actual artist that's doing it, and a lot of them do an amazing job, but for most people, it's not practical to spend $150 every 2 weeks on getting your nails done.
It's also like it's yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you have to every it's literally every 2 weeks, and then they immediately you can start seeing like the bottom of your nail, and then to fill it, sure, it's like not as expensive, but still, it's like 30 to 50 bucks to do a fill, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah. So then imagine paying like $100 a month on $100 plus a month on just like your nails. It's just like too much money for me.
Exactly. We have other things to
So
worry about. We have to worry about planning a wedding, like
right.
and buying $38,000 flowers to put on the table. It's like it's more things to worry
I'm
about.
so I'm so stressed about it. I cannot afford it. I don't
Yeah.
know how you feel, but I'm like, oh my god, like it's gonna be so rough to like I know that it's a bit I don't know how you feel about it. I know that it's becoming a very common thing and in certain cultures it's very normal. But like on like I've been seeing more and more that people like on their registry are like putting we don't want any gifts, just like donate to pay for our wedding or donate to like help us pay for our honeymoon or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing that a lot. And I've heard like half and half where people are like, that's like not good etiquette, but then other people are like, well, we live in like a society where if you want a nice wedding, you should be able to have one. And so like I've
Yeah.
been hearing like half and half. So we're not sure if we want to do something like that or if it comes off as like trashy.
I don't think so. I mean, like, if you ask for a mixer, obviously they're going to spend like what, $60 on a mixer.
I
So
also
why can't you just
I don't
bring
know
the
if you feel like this too, but we've been living together for like 7 years. So it's like we have everything we
Yeah, it's not
need
like you're
to
moving into your
buy
first
it.
house. Like you have the things that you need already. I don't need three more cookie cutters.
Right. So
So
donate to my
I get it.
wedding and make me not so stressed about it.
Yeah, I,
But
I
yeah,
don't think that's trashy at all. I feel like
yeah.
regardless, like as a guest at a wedding, like it's customary to bring a gift. So whether
Mm.
that is a physical item or money, I don't think it really matters.
Are you excited about like wedding dress shopping? Sorry,
That
this is
I'm
just
actually
random.
excited about.
I am too.
I know. Do you know like what you want? I know I want something that is like Filipino inspired and by a Filipino designer.
I
But
haven't decided, but there's like I don't want like I don't want to look like I'm in a quinceañera. I've seen a lot of dresses that just like are very busty, and I'm not a fan of like the the very like bedazzled. I don't know what the word is before it is, but do you know what I'm talking about?
I
Where it's
get it.
like
It's like very
very
princess fairy tale vibes.
yeah. And I'm more of like I feel like I'm just very simple, and I feel like I'm looking for something that's like just super simple and flowy,
Yeah.
and yeah. So we'll
How do you
see.
feel? Do you want to like show your tattoos or do you want to like cover them? Like wear
I
something
don't
long sleeve?
I don't know. Like I'm in the mindset. I love my tattoos and I love getting them. It's a very like cathartic experience for me. But sometimes when I see pictures of me with my tattoos, sometimes I'm like, does my arms come off masculine? Do I want to cover it during my wedding? I don't know. And that's something I'm gonna have to like play around with, I think. Do you want to show yours? What are you thinking?
Love all of my tattoos, but I feel like for my actual wedding, like for the ceremony, if we have one, I would want something. I also just like the look of long sleeve
Mm-hmm.
dresses. So I think most of them would just be covered just because that's the style of dress that I like. But just for like the actual ceremony, for like the reception or something, I don't care if they're out.
Yeah, that
I don't know.
honestly that's kind of cute to like and your like reception be this like very dolled up version of yours or your
Yeah,
ceremony to be this very dolled up and then your reception just to be like super let loose and that'll be super fun.
yeah.
I'm so
We'll see though.
excited. How
I know we
fun.
have a lot. We have a lot to think about, but at least
I
we have each
definitely
other to support.
it's gonna be interesting because a part of me is like a little worried about trying on dresses being trans because like a lot of times I've talked with like my friend who's getting married and she's very much like you go in and they make a whole event about you trying on dresses at their like at their
Yeah.
place like they give you like wine and like they sit you
Mm.
down and it's like a whole experience where the whole room is kind of looking at you because it's like literally in the middle of like their store, so part of me is like a little worried about being clocked or like being like I don't know, feeling like a little bit uncomfortable in those situations just with the attention, but I'm trying not to like let that consume me and like just more focused about my wedding and looking good. But yeah, it's exciting.
I feel that. Well, I think we've
I think
covered
that's
everything. We
it.
talked about our engagements, our feelings about planning a wedding. Like we really hit the nail on the head, I think.
I yeah, I think so. I
That's
want to
just
hear
our
about your
specialty.
trip.
Like
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
know.
do. I'm excited to talk about my trip. And I'm excited to hear like everything that's happened to you since then because there's just
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that we missed. So we definitely
Hmm.
have enough material for maybe like two more episodes. Just trying to catch up on what
I know.
happened
And there's so
so long
much
ago.
drag race stuff too
And
that like
oh my god, I want to talk about Drag Race too.
we should talk about it a little bit. Like we should like record like 5 more minutes after this and talk about it for like a
Okay,
Patreon or something. I think
yeah,
that would
I
be
think we
fun
should have
because
like a segment where we just talk about it just briefly
I
every
agree.
week because
I,
we have to. Like, hello.
I agree. All right. So I guess with that being said, we'll talk with everyone or we'll talk with everyone. I guess
We'll
we'll see
talk
everyone
at
next.
everyone next
Yeah,
week.
talk at everyone next week. All right, bye.
Bye.